What's up, buddy? How you been? Look, you know what we're here to talk about. This must be the final chapter, right? The final chapter is here. I'm a little sad that I can no longer report on the G4 network because, as we've learned today, I won't bury the lead. I'll tell you right now. It's in the title. It's the end of G4. It's over. It's going away. There is no, as we previously reported, we said it would exist on a shoestring budget. A couple hosts would stick around. They'd play reruns. No. My source got it wrong. I'll admit that. In that he believed that the organization had some leeway left to go, but there's nothing left. There's no money left. There's no support remaining within Comcast, the parent owner, and G4 is going away. And here I have Frosk with a little something to say about that. Let's get this from Frosk.
So maybe for 2022, we'd be a bit nicer, a bit more self-reflective, and we enjoy the fact that people are working hard to make free content for you.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, don't watch it.
If you don't like it, don't watch it. Never, I'm going to say this. It's a bad thing to say. It's a very bad thing to say that phrase. Because usually when I hear that phrase, what comes 6 months later is a dead organization. Maybe if you're at the top of the world, say it, sure. But you knew G4 was going down the tubes, and being on record saying, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Well, no one watched it, Frosk. We did what you said. I know I'm beating the drum. I know everybody makes that joke. But why did you say that, Frosk? And you and some of your buddies and the overall mismanagement of this project has led to the death of G4. And that's what we're going to talk about. Don't forget, subscribe, hit the button. Join the Vito Nation, who brings you the G4 news. Again, there's not going to be any news left, though. Not after today. Comcast pulls plug on G4 TV, ending comeback try for gamer-focused network. Now, I want to be, what do I want to say here? I want to say a couple things before we get into this. One, we're not doing a they went woke, they got broke thing, because I don't believe that. Frost rant was bad. It was, if you want to call it woke, go nuts. That's fine. I think that's even fair. But this was an organization that had a million little problems going on. And the main problem was not this one rant. That did not kill them. There's a lot going on. And we're also going to be very fair, okay, that, you know, a lot of people want to say, well, Frost killed it. Adam Sessler killed it. Everybody shares some portion of the blame, but ultimately I'm going to direct what I think the majority of the blame is at greedy network executives who jumped into this thing without a clear plan, didn't know what they were doing, didn't know who to hire, didn't even know what kind of network they were trying to build, and ultimately just threw all their money at ridiculous things. The money runs out, folks. Now, this was an exclusive from Deadline. Although, actually, I think this broke on Twitter, and we'll talk about that in a second. Comcast's Spectator division is pulling the plug on video game-centric network G4. A memo was sent to all employees in which Dave Scott, the CEO of Spectator, so I guess it's a division of Comcast. I don't know the Comcast divisions, whatever. Regardless, the memo went out and said that this did not work. We'll take a look at that memo. I have the memo. And this is going to give us a little bit of a backstory that basically G4 has been in big trouble. We lost Russell Aarons, the digital media executive who was their president. He left over the summer. He was supposed to, take care of the whole shebang. He's out. Then came Joe Marsh, who had no idea what he was doing, who was basically scrambling to get things done. G4 had a multi-year agreement with Twitch, pay TV distribution deals with Verizon, Fios, Cox, Xfinity TV, and Philo. It all adds up, folks. And that's one of the big things you need to take away from G4 is that if they had relaunched this, and one way I think a strategy they could have had was, hey, let's make a YouTube video, a YouTube channel. Let's bring back some of the personalities. We can get Adam Sessler. We can get that guy who hosts Attack of the Show. Let's do like a limited thing, build a little bit of momentum, and once we found our footing and we found some personalities that work, then let's talk about maybe getting this thing back on the air. But they went with the TV channel day one, and buying airspace. Buying, a broadcast slot, you get your own channel, a dedicated channel on these networks, costs a lot of money. They don't just give that to you. And that was a huge expense, which they were not prepared to fill that time. Now, G4 had a variety of things. We'll talk about some of these shows. Attack of the Show and X-Play, sure. Those are the main shows. People like them. I don't get it, but it seems to have done well for them. They then had a comedy show Boosted. Go watch some of my old videos. We're not watching anything from Boosted today. But the fact that Frosk, a woman with no comedy experience, whose only experience that we know of is as a League of Legends commentator, pitched to the network saying, let me run a sketch comedy show about gaming, and they said yes, tells you that this organization had no idea what they were doing. Now, several media and tech ventures centered on the gamer community have hit turbulence recently, including Google getting rid of Stadia, Facebook shutting down its gaming app. All of this is very important to talk about as well, because one of the big things that G4, the reason they started bringing G4 back was apparently in relation to the then very exciting esports space. There was a lot of people, and there still are people now who are saying esports is the next, big sports space. Now, sports is I can't even put into numbers the amount of money made from sports and televised sports and broadcast and everything else. Okay? G4, at the very outset, their original plan, as I understand it, was we're going to be an ESPN home for esports, which is why, again, they went and got someone like Frosk, who is an esports commentator. Thing is, they said, well, as long as we're doing that, we own the G4 brand. Why don't we just do it under the G4 heading instead of inventing a new channel? And as long as we're bringing G4 back, why don't we bring back Attack of the Show and X-Play and whatever else? Thing is, all this esports money that they expected, esports is going to blow up, we're going to make $1 bajillion. Esports still has not taken off for a number of reasons, one of which we're just in a very weird economy right now. People are not sinking money into esports. People aren't really watching it. It hasn't become the space that everybody was investing in and excited about. So that was a big thing that set them on the wrong path. And again, when I talk about that they didn't have a plan, half of it was let's do esports. The other half was let's bring back G4. Then, of course, we're talking about shows like Ninja Warrior and other, guy-centric reruns they wanted to run. Anyway, here is the memo. Let's read that. I guess it is here in this article from Scott. As you know, this was sent out to the staff, although well, there's so much to talk about here. This is a good story. You're getting a good video here. There's a lot to talk about. As we know, G4 was reintroduced last year to tap into the popularity of gaming. What a stupid sentence. We invested to create the new G4 as an online and TV destination for fans to be entertained, inspired, and connect with gaming content. I mean, ultimately, he's saying we fucking failed. No one was inspired. No one was entertained. In fact, we really just pissed off a lot of people with our lack of good content and stupid preachy rants. HR is reaching out to you. Get on out, and security will escort you to the door is basically the takeaway from this. Now, here's what's hilarious about this memo is that this is how employees found out they were fired, not from getting the email, but from Wario64, as we see here. Gerard the Completionist goes, hey, this tweet is how I found out I lost my job. How neat. I don't know if the memo went out and he didn't check his email and he was surfing Twitter and he happened to see it from Wario. But let's be clear, this Wario64 broke the news. Who is Wario64? He's a guy who tweets out which video games are on sale on Amazon. Well, actually, I'm looking. There's a lot of good Best Buy deals I should get in on. After this stream, I'm buying some video games. It is hilarious that Wario64 broke the news that G4 is canceled. And poor Gerard, the Completionist. Everybody I talk to says Gerard's a great guy and he didn't deserve this. I still maintain I can't find anything on that X-Play from him that I liked. It could be possible that if he had other guys there he had chemistry with, it could have been great. But, I'm not going to knock him as an individual. Maybe as a creator, I don't understand why he's so popular. But obviously, this is not how he deserved to find out he lost his job while surfing his Twitter and looking for video game deals from Wario64. Now, from Washington Post, and we'll see if I'm allowed to read this. It seems like I am. Sometimes they paywall it. They really want me to buy 4 weeks. Nathan Grayson, former Kotaku writer. I don't know, why do I mention that? I just don't. You can't always trust the Kotaku people, but let's hope Nathan Grayson's someone we can trust. Has a couple extra details that are quite interesting. Now, the shutdown was very sudden. On Sunday, a email was sent from G4 head Joe Marsh to say that the Los Angeles facility would be closed until October 18, and all streams were postponed, but he did not tell them that the network was shutting down. So they all, I mean, I don't know. If you hear the offices are closed for a week, you go, all right, we're fucked. We're fucked. Nothing's happening. Staff were locked out of their Slacks and Google Drives. This came after crew from Arena, a show produced as part of a crucial deal with the WWE, quit last week. Now, this is very interesting because, again, as I had reported, or as my source had told me, they said, well, G4 is mostly going away, but they're going to try and maintain some of their existing deals to put out some content. It is very possible that this WWE show, I don't know the name of the show, but they had worked out this brand deal with WWE. It's very possible this was a big thing for the company where they're like, well, let's keep the company going because we just got this big deal with WWE. But as I've also heard, staff were not exactly happy with what was being happening. I mean, they see their colleagues being laid off left and right. You might lose your boss or, a guy you think is important to getting your job done. And management goes, no, you don't need him. Just get the work done without him. Well, the entire crew for this show Arena quits all at once. It's very possible that G4 looks at it and they go, well, if we don't even have the WWE show, we got nothing left. That was our last possible thing to make work, or at least a major step forward would be having these brand deals and having partners. They don't have the time or the money to hire a new staff. It might be that was the point that this big quitting of the entire crew happened, and they said, let's cut our losses. It's over. There's nothing left. Now, a big thing that a lot of people are talking about are expenditures for guest talent. According to multiple G4 employees interviewed by the Post, some high-profile creators demanded day rates of as much as $30,000 when invited to appear as guests on G4. Now, they don't name who that is. Some people are getting this wrong. They're saying, oh my God, Gerard was making $25,000 a day to be on. No. Gerard does not command that kind of money. However, as we remember, and I guess I'll try to bring this up, as we remember seeing in their famous Name Your Price ball pit, this one guy, Austin Show, was bringing on, you can see here, there's Hassan, who's a major draw. There's, what do you call it, Moist Critical. These are some of the top guys on YouTube. And, of course, Amaranth here comes popping out of the ball pit, as we famously saw. Let's be clear. Amaranth makes, we've seen her earnings. She's posted them. She makes like $1 million a month. So there's no way she's coming by the studio unless you give her $25,000, $30,000. There's no point. She could just stay home and stream and make the same amount of money. Now, I don't think guys like Hassan and Moist Critical get a $30,000 payday, but I could see very much them being like, listen, you want me to come on your show for 2 hours? Give me $5,000. Otherwise, I'm just going to stream to my audience and take super chats or make YouTube videos or whatever else. So, So I think they were trying to attract an audience by paying this huge talent. We know they were buying videos from Scott the Woz, whatever else. And ultimately, that money runs out. They're spending too much money too quickly. On my show, we've talked about how their offices had news articles boasting about their $80 million build-out. This was a former office for TMZ that they bought the space and completely renovated it with, look at all this nonsense and wood and metal and, again, you talk about why did you not just make a YouTube channel, set up these guys like your hosts, guys like Gerard and Black Hokage and even Frost have made all their money in entertainment by sitting in their bedrooms and streaming. Why did you build this giant thing? As has been explained to us, you build the giant thing because then the other executives and celebrities show up and this is how you convince them you're the real deal. But they jumped in the 2 feet first, said, we're ready for the $80 million office. No, you blew all your money immediately. It's crazy how much money they blew. Now, here we have the Puck Entertainment News newsletter. This is a very exclusive newsletter. You have to have a paid membership to get this. But this adds even a little more perspective to the amount of money that they were just throwing out the window. Now, this guy agrees. The entire esports sector is kind of in the toilet. Google and Meta are killing their game streaming. And Comcast, though, he's saying, this is a middle figure to Roberts. Tucker Roberts, the 32-year-old son of Comcast CEO Brian Roberts. This is a baby. This kid is younger than me. And he goes, He's big into video games. He owns his own esports team, the Philadelphia Fusion, and he went to his daddy and he said, "Daddy, give me a TV network." And Daddy said, "Yes." Daddy said, "Sure, son, I'll bring back G4 for you," which was nuts. A 32-year-old kid has no idea what he's talking about. "Oh, esports is the future, Dad. We're going to make $1 billion." He had no idea what he was doing. And again, Comcast basically said, "Listen, I know Daddy gave you this job, but you wasted enough of our money. Get on out of here." Roberts was wasting their money by getting jobs for all his buddies. And this is big. This has not really been talked about because a lot of people don't get this newsletter. The network gave Olivia Munn, famously known for being on G4's Attack of the Show, then probably the biggest star who came out of G4. They gave her a 2-year, 7-figure deal to promote and appear on G4 TV. Guys, and as far as I understand, the deal is done and signed. She got the 7 figures, the million, if not multiple millions of dollars. We didn't see Olivia Munn once on the network. She didn't even do a promo spot. I don't know if did she come back for any of those stupid Thanksgiving get-togethers? The old golly gosh, remember the good old days? I don't remember seeing Olivia Munn on that channel at all. They threw over $1 million at her, and they got nothing out of it. This is crazy. These were layoffs over the past couple months. Network head Russell Aarons left in August, replaced by Tucker's friend Joe Marsh, who leads this T1 esports venture and has no prior TV experience. Well, that was the problem. Guys, that's the thing. A lot of people want to direct their ire at like Frosk, at Adam Sessler, whatever else. Directed at the fact that he had a 32-year-old CEO of the company or president, whatever he was, who had no idea what he was doing. He didn't have a plan. All he knew was, "Oh, esports is cool. I like games." And you can't run a TV network that way. It doesn't work. And I think the last thing I want to talk about is just the content they put out was terrible. I don't know who was pitching these shows. Again, I talk about giving Frosk her own gosh darn comedy show, a woman who is not a comedian, has no history of comedy. This was all absolutely insane. I saw this video, literally, I was commenting on this yesterday before the news broke that X-Play went down. The Weeknd is the Metal Gear Solid of pop music. Guys, as a YouTube creator, somebody who spends time trying to come up with fun topics that people are going to click on, just the fact that this video got made tells me that no one was left at X-Play who had any idea what an audience wants. Because let's be clear, I'm a huge Metal Gear Solid fan. I don't listen to The Weeknd. So I'm not going to click on this because you have a requirement for this video. Is that it has to be people who, 1, know and understand Metal Gear Solid, and 2, know and listen to The Weeknd. That's the only audience. Do you know how narrow an audience there is for this video? I can't imagine it. It even got 8,000 views. I don't know how that happened. I'm not going to watch it. I'm a huge Metal Gear Solid fan. Not to mention, I keep talking about their demographics. If you want to reach gamers, okay, well, a lot of these guys are young guys, 15, 18, your 15 to 25 demo is a big demo. The last Metal Gear Solid game came out, I think I checked, it was in 2015. This is not a recent game series. I love Metal Gear Solid. It's great to talk about. And if this was on your typical retro gaming channel, your dedicated gaming hub, sure, I'm sure there's lots of Metal Gear Solid fans. But if you are a mass market television network trying to cast the largest net possible, you should not be making videos about Metal Gear Solid and The Weeknd in one. It's a 35-minute video. The amount of time and effort and at least 1 or 2 or maybe multiple editors had to work on this thing, script writers, all for 8,000 views. This was the greatest train wreck in YouTube history, in television history, and everything they did was so wrong. And it was so weird to watch it happening. We all knew that the train was off the rails. We've all just been waiting for it to finally crash into the mountain, and I guess today is that day. G4, rest in peace. I don't even think you made it. Well, you made it like a year and a week. You made it a year. It's not much of an accomplishment, but gee, Lord, they really screwed the pooch on this one. Well, guys, that's the story of G4. I'll say this. Look, there might be some more salacious details to come out of this. Because I gotta admit, I loved reporting on this whole G4 debacle. It is just crazy to watch millionaires throw their money away, trying to replicate the success on YouTube that idiots like me. I'm an idiot. I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. I'm in a dirty bedroom surrounded by toys and garbage, and I'm able to get more views on my videos than $1 billion TV enterprise with it blows my fucking mind. That's the story. Guys, don't forget, speaking of being this channel rivaling billion-dollar television enterprises, we only do it because you subscribe. You gotta subscribe to the channel. Let's keep showing the mainstream. The mainstream's like, oh, why are these YouTubers so popular? Because we're not fucking idiots like you guys. You guys are morons. You have no idea what you're doing. But you know who knows what they're doing? The Vito Nation, all my audience. You guys are brilliant. And don't forget to check out my comic book, Super Killer, where I'm getting the Kickstarter together. Hopefully in the next month it'll be up. Until then, I want you to watch this promo. Now, if you're like me, you've probably found yourself getting a bit tired of all these superhero movies. Sure, we occasionally get something good like Spider-Man, but we also get crap like Wonder Woman 1984, The Eternals, or that godforsaken Hellboy reboot. Point is, maybe you're getting tired of watching these checkbox diversity characters putting on silly costumes and fighting CGI aliens. Maybe you found yourself watching the latest round of Cape shit and thought, man, I wish some guy with a big gun would just show up and shoot all these motherfuckers in the head. Well, buddy, have I got the comic book for you. Super Killer is a man with a mission, and that mission is to shoot superheroes in the fucking head. Immortal alien gods? Bam, headshot. Adorable magical girls? Bam, headshot. Batman, you want him to kill Batman? No, we can't use Batman. DC Comics owns Batman. But here's a guy who looks kind of like Batman. Bang! Right in the fucking head. Super Killer is a hilarious dark comedy written by one of the greatest comedic talents of the 21st century. Me. I wrote it. It also features incredible artwork by Keter LeBeau, the most beautiful man in Mexico. Point is, this is going to be the greatest comic book ever written, but we can't make it without your help. Check the link in the description and sign up for our mailing list. That way, when our crowdfunding campaign goes live, you'll be among the first in line to get yourself a copy of this glorious blood-soaked comic book masterpiece. Super Killer Book 1. Because for humanity to live, the Superman must die.